A lot of folks get surprised when they find out that in Iran, the official language isn't Arabic like in many Islamic nations, but it's actually Persian. Iran's got some deep history and a culture that's one of a kind. So in this video, we're diving into 10 mind-blowing facts about Iran that'll grab your attention and totally change up how you see this fascinating country. Stick around because the scoop we're about to drop on Iran is going to challenge and broaden your view of this mysterious spot. Let's kick off with a jaw-dropping stat. Every day, roughly 22 million liters of gasoline are illegally siphoned off from Iran. Sounds like a plot straight out of an action flick, but that's the reality in the country. To put the volume into perspective, that amount of fuel could fill over 8 Olympic-sized swimming pools. You must be wondering what drives such a massive smuggling operation. The answer is plain and simple: the pursuit of profit. Interestingly, Iran subsidizes fuel, selling it domestically at much lower prices than the international market. This reduced price, compared to neighboring countries, sets up a fertile ground for gasoline smuggling. Many dive into this illegal trade aiming to sell the fuel abroad at higher prices, cashing in on the price gap. The scale of this illicit trade is staggering, raking in billions of dollars annually. To give you an idea, profits from fuel smuggling can rival Iran's national budget allocated for development. This not only underscores the profitability of this activity, but also its profound impact on the country's economy. Here's a fact that might blow your mind. Iran is the world champion of nose jobs. That's right, the country tops the global charts in the number of rhinoplasties per capita, leaving all other nations in the dust. But you must be wondering why there's such an obsession with nose alterations in Iran. Traditionally, Persian beauty idealizes small and refined noses, while larger noses are often seen with less favor, resulting in a long history of seeking the perfect nasal shape. The importance of the face as the primary means of expression and beauty is amplified in Iran, particularly due to the mandatory hijab for women, which shifts the focus to the face as the main aspect of personal presentation. With most of the body covered, the face takes on a central role in expressing identity and personal beauty, prompting many Iranians, both men and women, to invest in plastic surgeries, especially rhinoplasty, to meet local aesthetic standards. Let's dive into a third intriguing point. Iran uses a different dating system than most of the world, following its own calendar, the solar hijri, also known as the Persian or Iranian calendar. While most countries use the Gregorian calendar, Iran marches to the beat of this solar calendar. The big difference is, while the Gregorian one is lunar-based, the Iranian calendar is all about the sun. What makes the solar hijri calendar especially spot-on is its foundation in detailed astronomical observations, pinpointing the exact length of each year. In Iran, the new year kicks off with the spring equinox, a time when day and night are of equal length, happening near a meridian located about 400 kilometers east of Tehran. So, unlike the Gregorian calendar used in many parts of the world, Iran keeps track of time in its own unique way, syncing up with the phases of the solar hijri calendar. In Iran, drinking alcohol is heavily cracked down upon by Islamic law, resulting in severe punishments like 80 lashes for those who violate it. This strictness shows the adherence to Islamic principles that forbid the consumption of any intoxicating substance. It's worth noting that this harsh punishment mainly applies to Muslims, as Sharia, or Islamic law, typically doesn't extend to individuals of other faiths. However, it's expected that foreigners and non-Muslims respect Iranian laws, including the alcohol ban. Despite these strict prohibitions and relentless enforcement, alcohol still flows in the country, whether through illegal production or smuggling, with estimates suggesting an annual flow of 60 to 80 million liters of illegal alcoholic beverages. In Iranian culture, the weekend has a unique vibe, happening on Thursday and Friday. Thursday marks the end of the work week, often with shorter hours, serving as a transition into relaxation. Then comes Friday, the highlight of the weekend, dedicated to rest and spiritual activities, following Islamic principles that reserve this day for collective prayers, especially Jummah. This setup reflects the unique importance of Friday in the Islamic context and shapes the weekly rhythm in Iran differently. So, while in many parts of the world people start gearing up for the weekend on Friday night, in Iran, they're already immersed in their downtime and religious observance. Since the 1990s, the educational scene in Iran has undergone a significant transformation, with a noticeable increase in female participation in higher education. Women have started enrolling in universities in greater numbers than men, marking an impressive breakthrough given the history of educational restrictions for them in the country. This change symbolizes a major step forward in the pursuit of educational equality between genders in Iran. Despite facing barriers such as discriminatory quotas and restrictions in specific fields of study, Iranian women have not only managed to enter higher education, but have also excelled academically. This shift was driven by significant improvements in access to primary education for girls in the 1980s, paving the way for their subsequent success in higher education. Iran is famous for one of its most spectacular contributions to textile art, the world's largest handmade carpet, found in the stunning Sheikh Zayed Mosque in Abu Dhabi. Unveiled in 2007, this colossal carpet covers an area of 5,630 square meters and boasts over 2.2 billion hand-tied knots, showcasing the skill and dedication of the artisans involved. With impressive dimensions of 133 meters in length by 41 meters in width, this textile giant weighs 12 tons. It was crafted by 1,200 skilled weavers from the Khorasan region of Iran, who dedicated a year and a half to the project. Under the leadership of Ali Khaliki, a renowned Iranian artist, the carpet features a sophisticated design, composed of 25 natural colors and a blend of 72% wool and 28% cotton. In addition to demonstrating the excellence of Iranian craftsmanship, the carpet embodies a wealth of details and exceptional craftsmanship in its creation. In Iran's culture, a simple gesture can lead to a major misunderstanding. The act of raising your thumb, which many of us see as a positive signal or agreement, is taken very negatively in Iran, being as offensive as flipping the middle finger in many Western countries. There, this signal is seen as a serious insult, comparable to a rude offense. This fact highlights the importance of knowing and respecting cultural differences. A gesture that may seem harmless or even encouraging in one place can be perceived as a serious lack of respect in another. Understanding these cultural variations is crucial to avoid misunderstandings and preserve mutual respect when interacting with different cultures. Polygamy, which is accepted in certain countries with a predominant Islamic influence, has its exceptions, with Iran being a notable example. Historically, Iranian Muslim men could marry up to 4 women, but that changed over time. Legislative reforms were introduced to restrict this practice. One of these reforms was the introduction of the Family Protection Bill, which proposed allowing men to have up to 3 wives without needing to obtain consent or even inform the main wife. However, this measure faced strong opposition, mainly from women's groups and activists advocating for women's rights, who saw it as a setback in women's rights and dignity. It was argued that such a law would increase inequality and exploitation of women. The pressure from these groups was so intense that the bill did not proceed, and polygamy remains prohibited in Iran. Iran is a country with a deep historical legacy, recognized as one of the cradles of civilization, with a trajectory that spans thousands of years, marking it as one of the oldest existing nations. The region has witnessed significant events in history, with settlements and urban development dating back to 4000 BC. The Elamite civilization, a precursor in the region we now know as southwestern Iran, was fundamental in laying the early foundations of the Iranian nation. Iran's rich history has been shaped by several great civilizations, including the Medes, Achaemenids, Parthians, and Sasanians, each leaving an indelible mark on the country's culture, architecture, and social structure. This amalgamation of influences has molded a distinctly Iranian cultural identity, showcasing continuous human occupation since ancient times. Today, the numerous archaeological sites and monuments scattered throughout Iran serve as sentinels of its splendid history, recounting the narratives of a complex and diverse past. As we conclude our journey through time, we remain excited for future discoveries in the next stage of our historical exploration. We thank you for joining us on this journey through history.